Why narcissists always rise to the top. Some of the most successful people in the world share a trait psychologists have studied for decades: charm without empathy, confidence without guilt, ambition without limits. And strangely enough, society often rewards it. The corporate executive who crushes competitors without remorse. The politician who manipulates perception effortlessly. The celebrity who treats relationships like transactions but still attracts millions of admirers. People call them charismatic, visionary, powerful, but underneath the surface, many operate with traits dangerously close to narcissism. And the unsettling part? Those traits can create massive advantages in environments built around status, influence, and competition. Tonight, you're going to see why narcissists often rise faster than ordinary people, why confidence is frequently mistaken for competence, and why modern systems sometimes reward the very personalities that damage people the most. So before we begin, ask yourself something honestly. How many powerful people have you admired simply because they looked confident? If this video changes the way you see status, success, and human behavior, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share it with someone who still thinks power and morality always grow together. In 2001, a study published by psychologists at University of California, Berkeley examined a disturbing pattern in leadership and corporate behavior. The researchers noticed that many individuals rising into positions of power shared traits associated with narcissism: excessive self-confidence, dominance, lack of empathy, obsession with status, and a deep need for admiration. At first, this seemed irrational. Why would societies reward personalities that often create toxic environments? But the deeper psychologists looked, the more unsettling the answer became. Because narcissistic traits can look remarkably similar to leadership traits in the early stages of success. Confidence looks like competence, fearlessness looks like vision, emotional detachment looks like strength, and charisma hides a lot more than people realize. This is why narcissists often rise quickly in competitive environments, especially in systems obsessed with visibility, influence, and perception. Think about modern corporate culture for a second. Who usually gets noticed first? The quiet, self-aware individual carefully analyzing every decision, or the person who speaks with certainty, dominates conversations, promotes themselves aggressively, and projects absolute belief in their own superiority? In many environments, the second person wins attention immediately, because human beings are psychologically wired to associate certainty with authority, even when that certainty is completely false. This phenomenon has been studied repeatedly in behavioral psychology. People tend to trust individuals who appear confident, especially during uncertainty. The brain interprets decisiveness as competence because uncertainty makes people uncomfortable, and narcissists understand this instinct naturally. They rarely hesitate publicly, rarely admit weakness, rarely show self-doubt. To outsiders, this creates the illusion of power, but underneath it often exists something much darker, an endless hunger for validation and control. That's the paradox of narcissism. The narcissist appears superior externally while internally depending heavily on admiration, status, and emotional dominance to maintain their fragile self-image. And because they fear appearing weak at all costs, they often become obsessed with success, not for fulfillment, for psychological survival. This is why many narcissistic individuals become highly competitive. Losing threatens their identity. Criticism feels like an attack on their existence. Failure creates unbearable emotional exposure, so they compensate aggressively. Some become workaholics, some manipulate social perception obsessively. Others exploit relationships strategically to gain influence, status, or admiration. And unfortunately, modern systems sometimes reward exactly those behaviors. Politics rewards charisma, social media rewards attention-seeking, corporate structures often reward self-promotion over quiet competence. Entertainment industries reward visibility above emotional stability. In environments like these, narcissistic personalities can rise extremely fast because the system itself amplifies the traits they naturally possess. Charm becomes leverage, confidence becomes currency, manipulation becomes networking, and eventually, perception becomes more valuable than reality. That's another reason narcissists succeed initially. They understand image. Many become experts at controlling how others see them. Around superiors, they appear disciplined and visionary. Around admirers, they appear magnetic. Around critics, they become defensive or hostile. Everything becomes performance, because maintaining superiority psychologically matters more to them than authenticity itself. And the frightening part, most people don't recognize narcissism immediately because narcissists rarely appear toxic in the beginning. They appear exceptional. That's what makes them dangerous, especially in societies where confidence is constantly rewarded faster than character. But eventually, something starts happening beneath the surface. The same traits that helped narcissists rise, slowly begin damaging the people around them, because narcissism creates short-term attraction but long-term instability. At first, narcissistic individuals often appear unstoppable. They dominate rooms confidently. They speak like they already belong at the top. They take risks ordinary people hesitate to take, and because they crave admiration intensely, many become highly skilled at performing success publicly. But performance and emotional health are not the same thing. Behind many narcissistic personalities exists a constant need for external validation. Praise becomes psychological fuel. Attention becomes emotional survival. And when admiration disappears, the mask often begins cracking. This is why narcissists frequently struggle with criticism. Even small criticism can trigger disproportionate reactions because their self-worth depends heavily on maintaining superiority. A disagreement feels disrespectful, a challenge feels threatening, a loss feels humiliating, and powerful narcissists become even more dangerous when their status is threatened. History is filled with leaders, executives, celebrities, and public figures who built enormous influence through charisma and confidence, only to collapse because their ego became uncontrollable. The pattern repeats constantly. Success increases admiration. Admiration inflates ego. Inflated ego weakens self-awareness. And once self-awareness disappears, destructive behavior grows. This is why many narcissistic leaders eventually create toxic environments around them. They surround themselves with people who praise them instead of people who challenge them honestly. Loyalty becomes more important than truth. Criticism becomes betrayal, and slowly reality itself becomes distorted. Psychologists sometimes describe this as narcissistic reinforcement loops, systems where admiration protects ego while isolating the individual from accountability. That's when manipulation intensifies, because narcissists don't just seek success, they seek dominance. Emotional dominance, social dominance, psychological dominance. Some achieve this through intimidation, others through charm, some through guilt, emotional withdrawal, or constant validation seeking. But underneath the behavior usually exists the same core fear: being ordinary, being ignored, being powerless. And that fear drives them relentlessly. Ironically, this is also why narcissists can appear unusually fearless compared to normal people. Many ordinary individuals hesitate because they fear embarrassment, rejection, or judgment. Narcissists often override those fears through extreme self-belief or emotional detachment. In competitive environments, that creates advantages. A narcissistic executive may fire employees without emotional hesitation, while others struggle morally with the decision. A narcissistic politician may manipulate narratives aggressively without guilt. A narcissistic influencer may exploit controversy intentionally because attention matters more than authenticity. And in systems built around visibility and competition, these traits can produce rapid success. That's the uncomfortable truth society rarely discusses openly. Modern culture often confuses healthy confidence with narcissistic dominance. The loudest person appears strongest. The most self-promotional person appears most successful. The most emotionally detached person appears most powerful. But appearances are deceptive because genuine confidence usually doesn't need constant validation. Real power rarely depends on endless admiration. And emotionally healthy individuals don't need to dominate every room to feel valuable. That's the difference most people fail to recognize early enough. Narcissists create intensity, but intensity is not always strength. Sometimes it's insecurity wearing expensive clothing. Sometimes it's emotional emptiness hidden behind status and charisma. And over time, many narcissists become trapped by the very image they created. They can never appear weak publicly, never lose control emotionally, never admit insecurity honestly. Everything becomes performance maintenance. That's exhausting psychologically, which is why many narcissistic personalities eventually self-destruct through paranoia, arrogance, impulsive decisions, broken relationships, or addiction to validation, because no amount of power ever fully satisfies an unstable ego still. Society continues rewarding these personalities repeatedly. Why? Because narcissistic traits often produce immediate visible results in competitive systems. Confidence attracts followers. Boldness attracts opportunities, dominance attracts attention, and attention has become one of the most valuable currencies in the modern world. But beneath all of it lies a darker reality. The people rising fastest are not always the healthiest, not always the wisest, not always the most ethical. Sometimes they're simply the most psychologically willing to do what others emotionally resist. And once you understand that, you begin seeing power differently. You stop automatically associating confidence with character. You stop confusing charisma with integrity. And you start paying closer attention to something much more important than image: what kind of person someone becomes once power removes consequences.